Hello everyone, my name is Kitetsu and welcome back to my channel. So yesterday a brand new article went up on the Warhammer community website and it basically told us that the motherload of Malign Portents releases is coming out for pre-order next week. I was not expecting that at all. Like, there are things on this list that are coming out that I was thinking would probably come out a bit later. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I know I'm a day late talking about it, but I wasn't free yesterday, so I still wanted to keep you guys in the loop, because some of you don't really read this website, and for some of you this may be the first time you are hearing about it. We don't know what day they are actually going up for pre-order, it literally just says next week. But they have announced 5 different things. And with those 5 different things which we're going to be able to pre-order as of next week, we have also got a few insights into what the Malign Portents is going to be about and just a little bit about what we can expect. So the first thing they announced is the book itself, which I'm more excited about than probably anything else at the moment. The next thing is the 4 figures, which we knew were imminent. But we've also got these 3 things which we had no idea were coming out, which are the accessories, and I'll talk more about them in a minute. We've also got the Legions of Nagash book, which is coming out in time for the whole campaign to kick off, which is really cool. And finally, we've got the piece of scenery, the observatory, which I think they've renamed, but let's have a look. The Warscrolls Citadel, which used to be called Skullvein Manse. We knew this was coming ever since the Lord Ordinator video, but it's a nice piece of scenery, so it's pretty exciting that's coming out. So from the top, first thing is the book, which I've already just said, I'm very excited about this. When I was covering Malign Portents, probably about a month ago by now, I'm not really sure, I said there was a chance that people were going to be disappointed. And that's because they had this amazing countdown and everyone's hype was going through the roof. And I took a step back and said, actually, maybe we need to curb our expectations and we're probably not going to get a whole new line of death models. From that kind of perspective of stepping back, it actually let me be far more enthusiastic and positive and just excited about what we did get. And the number one thing that I said I wanted, like on the top of my Malign Portents wishlist, was basically a new campaign book. And that's precisely what we've got here. And it says obviously you're going to have a toolbox for gaming. We're going to have in-depth rules for playing during what they're calling the time of Tribulations, and it actually gives us a few details about how that is going to play out, which is very cool. It seems very narrative and kind of almost like an open play type situation rather than matched play, but it does sound very exciting and I'm pretty keen to play some of these games. Basically, the idea is it builds on the Time of War rules, which are in the General's Handbook 2017, and it's all centered, as you might expect, around playing games in the realm of death. Now, it says perhaps in pursuit of Nagash's secrets, or perhaps as a defender of his kingdoms. Now, that makes me wonder if, because they're saying in pursuit of his secrets, I'm wondering if they're not actually going to give away right now exactly what Nagash is up to. I noticed on this article here, which was about LVO. Here it is. It says basically that this campaign is going to influence the future of the mortal realms for years to come. So when they are saying that Malign Portents is this massive thing, I think they are talking literally, and this is going to go on for years. Obviously not the Dread Solstice campaign, but just the general Malign Portents thing, I think it's going to last for quite a long time. Below that, they just tell us that we can obviously adapt this whole thing for skirmish. So if that floats your boat, you can play smaller games based around Malign Portents. Now this bit was actually really reassuring and really positive, because I made a video the other day which was all about the possible leaks for the warscrolls of the Harbingers, and I was really worried that these figures would just not fit in well with any of their respective grand alliances. For example, the Knight of Shrouds was really good, but only if you use him for night haunts, and the Lord Ordinator was absolutely fantastic, but only if you play games with lots of war machines. Otherwise, why would you even include him in a Stormcast army, because you don't even have any war machines in that army, And as for having a Flesh Eater force and taking a Knight of Shrouds, like, what would be the point? But it is possible that Games Workshop has got slightly more exciting plans for these 4 characters, and it's not a guarantee, but it's something I'm just hopeful for based on what it says in this article. It might be that we actually see character war scrolls for these 4 characters, so you can have the option of taking them as, say, a generic Lord Ordinator, or you can take him as, say, Vorus Starstrike, who is the actual named character so far in the storyline that the video was about. It says that these Harbingers can be used with any army you want. So basically, if you are playing any of these Time of Tribulations battles, which are going to be in this book up here, it says you can take a Fungoid Cave Shaman whilst keeping your Beastclaw Raiders allegiance abilities, or you can lead your Bray Herd into battle with the Darkoath Warqueen. So they can be added to any army in games set during this Malign Portents thing. So it's reassuring. We don't really have the full details of it yet, but I'm feeling quite positive about that. Next we have the accessories. We've got some dice, which is not necessarily that exciting, but they're nice all the same. So I think these cards are probably the most exciting thing of the accessories, because they give us a big hint at how the campaign battles are going to play out. If you actually scroll back to the top, it says that the mortal realms are racked by strange premonitions of wars to come. During battles in this time, armies can read the stars and interpret portents to their advantage, or the doom of their foes. So obviously these cards are all about reading stars and portents in order to either benefit yourself or somehow hinder your opponents whilst you're playing. And who knows whether that's a case of, like, maybe making enemies' units just vanish off the board and reappear somewhere else, or adding loads of attacks to your own units, possibly re-rolling charges and all sorts of stuff like that. And then the last big thing is obviously the Battle Tome is going to be available very soon. I wasn't sure when this was going to come out, but it just made sense that we were going to have to see it soon, and it was going to have to come out before Malign Portents properly kicks off and the global campaign starts. Because, I mean, come on, the whole thing is based around death, and they really need to get this out. To be honest, I think they almost could have done with releasing this even earlier, because it's not giving people a huge amount of time to start planning their army lists and tactics and stuff like that, but better late than never. The best thing it says, and I want to do a separate video at some point around what the basic issue is people have with death at the moment in terms of new models, because there'll be some people who'll be saying, well, they've got so many models, what's the issue? But I think part of it boils down to the fact that it's been a very long time since we've seen any death models. And the other issue is just generally how poorly the forces of death have been organised so far in the General's Handbooks. And it sounds to me like they are very much fixing that with this book. They've also come up with a really cool concept, which is basically you pick a Mortarch which you want to dedicate yourself, and then from there onwards you can use absolutely anything from the Death Battletome. As it says here, the whole point is that you are able to capitalise on synergies between your death units, which are basically designed to reward players regardless of which are their favourites. And really that's the way it should be. I want to be able to take the Mortarch I want with the faction I want, and I want to be rewarded for whatever way I want to do it. For example, I love Neferata, and I want to be able to mix her in with Death Rattle, Flesh Eater Courts, all of those different units, and we know that that's exactly in the lore how things were meant to be. As a Mortarch, they are like the first line of command after Nagash, and they have these enormous hosts of undead that follow them and do what they ask, and the way they've had it before was just so restrictive. You would basically have to take a Mortarch as an ally, and it was just absolutely obscene. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And obviously for me, because I do a lot of lore stuff on my channel, there's going to be loads of lore. We're finally getting the updates we want for Nagash and the Realm of Death. And finally, Shaiish is going to be fleshed out in combination with the Battletome and the Malign Portents Handbook. And I just think this whole faction has so much to tell in terms of amazing storyline, so I'm really looking forward to the lore section of the Battletome, and I really hope it doesn't disappoint. And then yeah, after that we just had the piece of scenery, which obviously looks great, and I'm quite tempted to pick that up at some point myself, depending on how much it will cost. But yep, that was the update, so I hope you enjoyed it. I've given you my opinions on what we are looking at here. I'm obviously excited. I was actually a bit worried that all of this was being announced in one go, to be honest, because my bank account is really going to suffer. Right, so before I go, I just want to say 2 really quick things. In fact, 3. First thing is thank you so much for your support. I'm not sure what I'm on at the moment. 3,400 subscribers. Absolutely astonishing, and the amount of support I get, the encouragement, the number of likes. I mean, look at that, 2 days and it's had 11,000 views. Absolutely obscene. But everything I do is possible because of you guys, and your support is incredible. It's so encouraging to know that if I'm staying up till gone midnight on a work night when I'm working full time, I've got all of you guys behind me, encouraging me and just filling me with the positivity that makes it just so worth doing. The second thing then I want to say is that actually tonight I wanted to do the Malign Portents story update. I do have the script ready, it is ready to go. I need to make it, they take a bit more time than covering these news updates. It's on the way. Obviously we have the news story tomorrow, so I'm a little bit behind and I'm going to have 2 to catch up on, but there's just been so much news recently that I haven't had the chance to record that video and get it out there. But I know loads of you enjoy me talking through those stories, so it will be there, it's on its way, it's coming, I promise you. The very last thing I want to talk about is I have set up a Patreon page, and if this is where you want to stop the video, thanks for watching and I'll see you later. But for the rest of you, I just want to say a few words on it, and I'm not going to go on about it. I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm here to do. The only thing I will say about it basically is completely voluntarily, if you do want to support me on Patreon, I will be eternally grateful. I think it does say something about making a trailer on here at some point, so you may see me come up with some weird 2-minute, here's who I am, here's why your support would be amazing. But that's all I want to say. Okay? Done. But anyway, I'm still super enjoying myself here on YouTube, and you guys, as I keep saying, are the best, and I will see you guys really soon.